I would like to talk about when you were going through your 5 tips for a beginner.
Hmm.
Well, one of them, I think it was the second one, sparked my memory of or the thought of weighted calisthenics, but also myofibrillar versus sarcoplasmic
Yep.
hypertrophy. Because
Hmm.
that's something I used to not even believe that, to be honest, even though I learned about it. I was like, yeah, I don't know. But in my experience, I have noticed when I really kick up the volume in my workout, so I'm doing lots of sets, right? And forget rep range. It's more about how many sets I'm doing. Kicking up the volume in that way, I do puff up. I do
Yeah.
get bigger, but it's short-lived, right?
Yes. Yes.
And
Definitely.
if I take, if I deload, and I decrease the volume, then that extra mass just goes away. I'm not kidding.
Hmm.
Within a week, I look
Yep.
smaller.
Hmm.
And that kind of goes in line with the idea that that's sarcoplasm, right? It's fluid retention. It's
Yes.
glycogen and water and all the things that convert to ATP. And
Hmm.
it aligns with when I used to take creatine. I would load creatine like is recommended on the supplement label,
Yep.
and
Yep.
I would literally puff up. Whereas what I've been doing lately for the last 6 weeks or maybe even 8 weeks is like a more minimalist approach where I'm just doing 3 days a week, 3 sets per exercise, but I'm going heavy. I'm putting on the weight
Yes.
vest on everything. And my progressive overload is not volume for the past 8 weeks. It's been weight. And that's
Hmm.
how I'm keeping the movements the same, like weighted chin-ups, weighted push-ups, weighted dips, weighted squats and lunges. And I'm doing good mornings as like a deadlift kind of
Yeah.
substitute.
Yeah. Yep.
But yeah, like just doing weighted and I feel great. I think that's something worth mentioning is like there's those two ways to build mass, and it seems
Yep.
like one might have an advantage over the other depending on what you're going for, right?
Yep. So I'll share a story with you with that because I've done a video on difference between sarcoplasm and myofibrillar
Yes.
hypertrophy. Because when
Right.
I found out about it, I was like, wow. I remember I used to do more high volume stuff when I was younger, and I remember I went on holiday, and within a week I lost a lot of size, and I was just like, why am I putting in all this effort in eating all this food, working out really hard if I can lose it so quickly?
Yes.
And I just was looking up why it happened and that. And then that's when I stumbled across the different forms of hypertrophy, because I think most people just think there's just hypertrophy and then there's strength training. They don't realize that it branches out. And then I think the key thing was that the myofibrillar, you're actually building contractile tissue.
Yes.
And that was the thing that really stood out for me. Is like, what's the point in being bigger but not being stronger? What's the point in putting that effort in just building basically the sarcoplasm, the energy reserves around the muscles? What's the point in bigging that? And it's far easier for the body to just, like a balloon, just deflate it if it's not being used anymore. And I think you brought up, you spoke about it before, that the SAD principle, what you test yourself is what you improve, let's say. And if you're not doing high rep and you're not giving your body a requirement to keep hold of those energy reserves, it will just get rid of it. Where if you do the myofibrillar, the heavy loading, the mechanical tension, really building muscle, laying down contractile tissue, it's far easier to maintain that by just doing a little bit of, you could just do probably a couple sets in a week and you'd still maintain that muscle. And you build that thicker, harder, denser muscle. And it's the size that you actually gain, far easier to keep, far easier to maintain. And it actually has a use. And I
Yeah.
was like, from then on, it was like, I've always preached or gone on, and I've always focused more on low rep training. And I prefer the form of training. I've never liked the idea that I'm stopping because I'm getting that burn. I prefer that feeling that I'm stopping because I literally have no more in me and I've given everything my all. And then having that ability to, what's the expression? You get those people that are very, very big, yet they're not that strong. I don't see the point. If you're not big and if you're big, but you're not strong, I really don't see the point. It's like, I'm always been more performance based than anything, but if you're not strong, I don't really see the point in being big.